Okay, so hello viewers, welcome back to today's video of Career Advice. So how are you doing and how are you learning from our videos? Do comment me in the comment section before proceeding to our class. So before we start today, I've got a couple of queries, a couple of emails actually to share the contents, to share the documents. So I just want to repeat that same thing that I've been telling before, that we don't have any such materials or any such content. Our materials are our videos, so please do watch in the sequence, and please do watch full, without cut short, without shortcut, without any kind of forward and backward. So you can do back and forth if you don't understand the concept, and you can always drop me a question or drop us an email, and we'll reply to that. Okay, I hope that answers to the queries. And before I start, please do subscribe, share, comment, or press the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I am releasing a new video of the week. Okay, so what we are going to learn today then? So we are going to learn a very theoretical concept, I would say. It's not totally theoretical, it has a practical substance to it. It is called correspondence. So in ISU there is a topic called correspondence, and how the correspondence forms are designed, how the address are determined, what all are the activities with the correspondence form, whether you want to have a new correspondence form, how can you do it, how will you take help of an adapter to do that. So we'll talk about that today. Please do watch till the end. If you don't understand, do a back and forth, you will definitely understand the concept. And yeah, let's start the class, and please do watch till the end. Let's begin. Thank you.
This session would be very theoretical in nature because it's related to the correspondence and customer contact. Okay. So correspondence means in utility segment, or in general, whom we need to send the letters, whom we need to send the information if there will be any issues. So you can see correspondence is all written output you send to your business partner, as well as printed evaluation report, statement, everything. So correspondence is like letter or information we are sending to your business partner. Now correspondence can be of two types: inbound correspondence and outbound. So inbound means which correspondence are coming to us, that is we call the inbound correspondence. And whatever we are sending to customers or to the upper management, we call them correspondence. And we hold all these correspondence to provide best services. Okay. Now, most of this correspondence also created by print workbench, or we can say smart form or smart letters. Some of the correspondence these days are through the electronic data, like by email or by SMS, by some messages. So all this stuff is known as correspondence. Now, what is the use of this? What is the use of this? The use of this correspondence is very simple. Like we need to inform the business partner what are the open items, when they need to pay the amount, all these details. We also inform the business partner about the statement, about their history, about what exactly they are doing to reduce their bill, or what are the new what we call products or services are introduced in the system. So mostly we are actually saying to the business partner what is the status, and their relationships, like account relationships. Several contracts exist for one business partner, and you only want to use one correspondence to whom you need to inform or send the messages. So in that case, we need to figure out a particular person for the correspondence. Now, here the correspondence means the person whom we are legally bounded to communicate the details. Okay, so let's consider there is a person whose son is having a house, but the father is paying. Then we need to send all the status report, statements, details to that person. And we need to consider the customer relationship. Like um, we send that to the CRM team. They call to the business partner and they send the details to his father. So mostly it's kind of a uh, communication between the customer and the utility company to establish the relationship. Okay, and it also give a notification of the balance to the person, to the customer, to the group of customers, what exactly their account status is, means how much they need to pay or how much we owe to the customer. Okay, so mostly it's kind of a later stuff. But what are the types of correspondence we have in SAP ISU? You can see we have these many correspondence. We have returns, we have account statements, account information, document, dunning notice, public sector bill, invoicing in FICA, right of notice, installment plan, payment advice note, interest statement, and check printout. So all these are financial correspondence, actually, a bit technical in nature, like returns. Returns means somebody paid more, but we need to refund that person. Okay. For that, we need to send them a letter with a check, or we need to inform that you have paid higher amount. So we are returning that much, so returns. And by putting a correspondence with returns, what exactly is the benefit with closing that open item? Okay. Similarly, account statement. Account statement is information, and as per the definition of the correspondence, we need to provide the status of the business partner. For that, we provide this account statement. They understand what is their status, how much revenue we are generating from him, and how much he is paying to the utility company. So there will be a transparency going to happen. That's how we provide the account statement. Account information. So account statement, we provide them the whole revenue stuff, the how much they paid, how much we owe to the customer. Where account information, we are giving bit detail. We are giving the open items, all the details to that person. So account information, you can say, is more elaborate in nature as compared to account statement. Account statement is mostly related to the money matters. Okay, whereas account information is having more details, the status, the history, like that. Similarly, documents like welcome letter, or documents like uh, if there would be any new policies, new tax rules introduced. So all these come to documents. So smart forms are using that for that to correspondence about the documents. Or then dunning notice. Dunning we discussed many times. If somebody is not paying on date, so we are creating some letters for that person, and that's what we call them dunning. And for dunning process, first we inform that customer. So we call that a dunning notice. Dunning notice may have multiple labels, 1, 2, 3, or based on the practices, we can introduce multiple layers of dunning. And this dunning notice go to the customer. Public sector bill. Okay, public sector bills, like if there will be any companies which are introducing a new kind of stuff or bill. So public sector bills is mostly for everybody. It's kind of an open letter for a companies or public sector. So those things also with correspondence. And obviously invoicing we send to the customer. Right of notice. Okay. Right of notice may be of two types. Okay. But mostly if somebody amount is write off, once we write it off from our GL and we close the open item, we send that write off notice to the customer. Installment plan, similar stuff. If somebody is not paying, not able to pay the higher amount, we provide some solutions for them, or we divide them into installment. And once it is divided, we send a correspondence to the customer that what is the plan for their installment, within how many period, within how many days they need to pay back. So those details will be sent to him. Then payment advice note. A payment advice note is similar kind of invoicing, but invoice is a regular stuff, whereas if there is any extra amount or something added or some services provided, we introduce a payment advice note. Interest statement based on their non-payment amount or security amount, we generate an interest statement and that we send to the customer or to the higher management. Check printout. Okay. Check printout means the current status of that person's like non-billability or some stuff. That is check printout. We do that also. Then SAP provides the following types of correspondence. As I mentioned previously, we have multiple options, but mostly we use this stuff like payment notice, payment form for installment, cash received, online check, and incoming public sector correspondence dunning processes. Okay, so these type of correspondence SAP provides by default. And if you need to introduce more, you can also introduce more correspondence, but we have all these type of correspondence which we can use. Okay, now correspondent type configuration. So we have configuration at the event label for the correspondence, and we know whom to send. And so for the contract account, we already know that link to the business partner, and we send that to the business partner based on the event. Now this correspondence type 002 account statement, where we know the recipient control, whom to send, and generation event, during the generation event, we generate the smart form or the details. It's mostly ABAP program, and from the application, we get all the details about that person. Okay, and we send that. Whereas if somebody will send back to us, which would be the inbound correspondence, in that case also, we can collect that information from the customer based on the contract account details. Okay. So mostly if you see at the SAP label easy access, you can see we can allocate the email IDs. Okay, here. Okay. So mostly the ABAP people, they can allocate these inbound and outbound communication between the utility company and between the customer. Yeah. So the ABAP people, they know all these events and the details, and based on what you require, let it be, if you say then we need some outbound correspondence to the customer, they will develop that, and you just need to give from where you'll get the communication details. So they'll get the communication details from the business partner level, and when you generate all these letters, automatically it will flow to the person's box, the outbox. Okay, so you can see here the the system is very simple. We generate some applications or some programs, and those programs will extract all the details from the centralized data. Okay, and then it will send that to the customer or the printer machine which generates the physical data. Okay, so basically it's handling the correspondence is very technical in nature. So we have input information. Input informations may of dunning data or return data or any of these correspondence what we discussed. And once it gets generated, it will come to the storage in a PDF format or through the workbench, what is called print workbench. And then once it is stored, then we'll go for the printing. Okay, so printing can be like with a local printer, or you can put them into a log, so it will print during the night or when there will be less load onto the server. Okay, so all this correspondence stored into a table called DFCU. CU stands for corresponding. Okay, so now corresponding control, when as I mentioned, we need a list of the corresponding, and either we need to allocate some correspondence or we can lock them also. When we lock them, the correspondence will be stopped there. Again, it's a table maintenance kind of stuff. Okay. So if we stop them, like if we output, like whenever you did a printing, this stuff is very natural, it will come. Whether you want to use the local printer or you need to pass some parameters. So those
Yes.
stuff you need to put, and it will go to the spool, and the spool will automatically print that. Okay. So those are called print parameters. Now, if we'll put everything in one picture and how it should look like, it should look like this. We have dunning, return, interest, installation plan, whatever it may be, and it generates the letters, generates the correspondence. And once it will generate that, it will link to the contract account. So through contract account, it will get the addresses, the details from the billing and or invoicing amount, whatever the pending. From there, it will activate these processes, okay, because of non-payment or any other stuff. And then we generate the letters and we put those letters into a centralized server or correspondence container, okay. And the container is also linked to the invoices, right? And when the control is allow it will send those to the printing unit and the printout get generated. Otherwise, it will go to the customer through electronic data format. Okay, so that is a new concept. This is an old picture actually. That part is not yet linked. Okay, so that's how the whole process. Now, how to customize correspondence? You can get the correspondence. Let me go to the SPRO. So correspondence will be at the again at the basic level. The contract account, asset, receivable, and payable. Okay, basic functions. And you can get here, you can see this is correspondence. Okay. Now, whatever we discuss there, to configure, these are the stuff to configure. Define the types of correspondence. So you can see there will be a default correspondence. Now you can see whatever we discuss, everything is there. Return, account statement, dunning notice, installation plan. So everything is there. If you want to add, you can add with new entry. Otherwise, you can use this default correspondence what is given by the SAP. Okay. Now, should I add something? I think almost everything is covered by SAP. Bank statement. Lot of other. Somebody added learner booking confirmation. Let me add something. Shared X DT. Get ORT. Green charge refund. Okay, I introduce a new kind of a letter, that is green charge refund letter. If somebody using some solar energy or wind energy, will get a benefit and a letter as well. Now these are the charge type correspondence. Again, charge type of correspondence mostly linked to notice or to give a threat to the customer, like dunning charges. So we use, if there will be any dunning kind of stuff, we can use this charge for legal warning, disconnection charge, account statement charge, all those things. Charge means like you are threatening, you are charging somebody. That kind of letters you need to define here. Okay, so now here it is saying that whatever you define, you need to allocate here. So name of the charge schedule, it's saying charge scheme 01. I'm not putting anything because I'm not putting any kind of a charge correspondence here. Configure the correspondence variant. Now, what is the role of this correspondence variant? Now, when we are we will use the print workbench, there you can use this correspondence variant 0001, like to send some kind of letter or to identify which kind of correspondence we need to send for the customer. Okay. Here the correspondence role, like business, private, customer, to whom you want to send the letter. Like commercial, industrial, domestic, even if domestic, you can introduce multiple. Correspondence address determination. We have all these predefined correspondence. You need to allocate some address or role to them. Let's see what is the predefined address here. And private address, company address, or bank address, all those details are there to whom you need to address this correspondence. Okay, so that is what the correspondence. I'm leaving all for your explore. You explore this. If you have any query, any questions, just let me know. There is 2-3 stuff here we can easily do that, like number ranges of the forms. Whenever you send the correspondence, it will generate a number for that correspondence. From there, we know, let's say, unique identifier for that particular data. So that is one. Similarly, you can define the correspondence application form. Okay, like here, these are the form which you can link to the RTI form. Mostly it is not your role, but if the FICA people don't know how to link the application form with the RDI form, then you can explain that, okay, these are the places where you can allocate. Okay. And these forms also you can see this modules. You can see the name format. It's already their standard formats. So return for this is the application form, this is the update form. And when you are applying the events, or in that case, this application need to be used. And during that return process, the correspondence will get generated. Okay, so number range and event stuff, status of the correspondence, whether it is reached or not reached, you can also define those. Like 01, like in bold. So I just generated the letter, but I didn't change that. If I put 01 correspondence there, or 02 for already sent, like that, we can create some status for the correspondence. And finally, what you want to write within the letter. So you can give the link of that body, and based on the switch scenarios. And so we have all these predefined whatever correspondence. You need to allocate that at the scenario level, and under like now these scenarios are not predefined. You need to understand at which scenario which letter need to go, and you need to define all these stuff. Like already one dunning is done, the second time next dunning letter need to be go. So for that you need to allocate some scenarios. Okay. So that's the correspondence